Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. This is either episode 297 or 298. I say that because I did my haul video and I'm still trying to process it, and it might be that I will want to go ahead and have this go first. So it'll be one of the two. I get to watch Bubba twice today, so I'm trying to slip this in between watchings. This is that hectic week of my parents closing on their home on Friday, as well as me doing an artisan market on Saturday, so it's crazy busy. So I have right here a close-up, because that's how close I'm going to be coloring, a close-up of my Colorful Country Life's conversion chart that I used before they had as many colors. Karen has, since I started using it, added more sets of pencils. So I used it today to find color equivalents of the Black Widows to the Prismacolor. So I'm on the brown page. It is page 27 of 30, and I used it to find the equivalent for Espresso, which is right there. Okay, so Huntsman, BW117. I used it for dark brown, which is dark chocolate, SC40. I used it for warm gray 30%, which I think is almost on this right there. So I used a tool. I actually used a reference video, Chris Cheng's video, that I loaded up. It is 7 years old, but still love the style of it. And it is unique to me, so it is a fun challenge. I hope that if you are coloring in the book with me, that you will consider checking out her video as well to supplement my video, and between the two of us, perhaps you will learn a new technique for a softer version of like greenery in the distance, as well as now we are going to do tree trunks. So that is all I wanted to show you in this book. And it is literally you saw it, My Colorful Country Life, colorful O-U-R. Highly recommend this tool. It is actually probably, without this tool and Karen Hull's tool that I did purchase, that is a conversion chart of the professional pencils, I don't know that I would have gotten as involved in coloring as I have. Certain tools. Same with card making. Without this tool called the Misty, which is a stamping placement tool, I would never have made cards. I was so frustrated in the beginning. I had made jewelry for years, and here I was trying to do paper, and I couldn't even place a rubber stamp on the paper properly. And I'm like, this is crazy. I mean, I can do soldering, I can do 14 karat gold and sterling silver, and I can't take a $5 stamp with a $2 ink pad and place the ink properly on the paper to get a good image. It was crazy. Very frustrating. All right, I seem to be very, very close. So I am going to now, I didn't know I was quite that close. I'd like to see a little bit more here. And I'd also like to lighten it up as well. That's better. Okay, so we have these trees, and because of me and my fine giant book here, I'm going to play with some angles. Get myself situated with a good angle that I like, and then rotate my camera and get me in the middle. Let's see, I think I have access to everything I need. I showed you a couple of the colors because we did the conversions. I will say yesterday for the greens, I didn't struggle as much with, I guess I colored this on Saturday. I did not use the conversion chart for the greens. I just kind of picked them. So I want to lighten things up a little bit. We are going to start with this one tree in the corner here. I wish I could even show you. I can. Look at that. I love this new tool. I got a new tripod thing. It's not really even a tripod. I would call it a C or an L. And it has a reciprocating arm thingy, kind of like an old-fashioned lamp. So 5 colors. So we don't want to waste any time since I am only off duty. I just got done watching Bubba once. I think this is the only day that I will be doing this twice. Have I mentioned I'm not a dog person? I'm an animal person, but not a dog person. He was very good today, though, I will have to say. Finally, he's getting to know me, and now I'm going to not have to watch him because he'll have his own home to be in. So, SC40 Scorpion. Nope, sorry. That is the... So, these all are a little bit different. Something to talk about. This is actually a great set of 5 to show you. So, each subset of Black Widows has its own name of the set that it's in, and it comes in a tin. And so they're like, I don't know, 12s, 24s, 36, and a 48. So I have representative from Skin, Dark, actually just Dark Skin, Dragon, Black Widow, and Scorpion. And what messed me up is that Scorpion, if I can hold them here so you can see it, Scorpion here is the set name. The color is in the middle. And the number here is and this funky font could be a CE, but it's not. I mean an SE, but it's an SC for Scorpion 40. Black Widow is the set. BW117 Huntsman is the color. And I'm going to tell you that my colors are off. If I go, and I always like to go light to dark, and I completely did not do that. So let's put these in the proper position. Start what we should be trying to learn consistency. What I have learned, these are the pencils that do not like copy paper. I will show you what they do on copy paper. Here is my initial. I was going to just do the light blue. I thought, you know, I want to find something a little more interesting for the background than these kind of cartoony colors. Here's my attempt at the tree, and I was not very impressed with how the colors went down on the copy paper. And now here I went ahead and created barrel dipped ends on copy paper, and I might have to redo that with nicer paper to get a more accurate depiction. Here is what my mock-up on the Nina looks like with the trees. Still, there's a lot of tooth, and I'm leaving it toothy. This is just a mock-up, so I just wanted to see how these colors blended out. These are the colors that Chris Cheng has and uses. And here's my attempt at not picking colors, or not picking her colors, me just kind of playing around with my own colors. And I think what does it is her gray that she picked, this 30% gray equivalent, which is called Graythorn. All right, light to dark. Skin, dark 13 suede, skin, dark 18, Graythorn, dragon, color name Castle, DG 138. And so you can see that name, color, number varies between all of these sets. For me, it's kind of fun, but if I was a beginner, I would be really frustrated. And the fact that these ends weren't dipped was frustrating enough that I immediately had to go and manually create the colors, because looking at these tips, look at how useless the tips are. They're just both brown. So the Dark Chocolate SC40 Scorpion set, Black Widow, BW117 Huntsman, and my favorite of all of the styles, even though it's not as the easiest to read is the white, of course, but the prettiest to me is actually the red Black Widow. It's a foil. All right, so let's go ahead and take what we've got here, put the pencils in the right hand, and then I'm going to do a quick focus. Like I said, I'm in the middle of processing a video that I might just want to get this loaded first. The main reason being that my daily colors, I don't do a lot of splicing and fancy shenanigans with processing like I do on the videos that maybe I have things sped up and I maybe said something wrong and I have to fix it. I'm starting with Huntsman. That is the darkest color. It is the equivalent. Oh, I even have my equivalents for you today, just for fun. I mean, I know a lot of people have the Prismacolor, and I went ahead and did the work of matching them up. So the Prismacolor for this darkest color, BW117, is $10.99 Espresso. I will, to make it easy, I will go ahead and have both the Prismacolors and the Black Widow colors for you listed in the description. I can tell you I'm not doing this the way she colored it. She started with actually the darkish middle brown. You can see that this is where yesterday I took the whatever my brown was for the greens and blocked in extra branches. I am trying not to be really detailed. I want this to be softer. I'm thinking of the library page. I did a lot of wood. I was very detailed with the wood. I just finished the pumpkin and had the windowsills, and the door had a lot of detail. My goal is to not overthink this. I'm going to make it nice and loose and sketchy because these trees are in the background. The stumps that the people are sitting on, which you can't see, they're sitting on stumps. Those I will probably do with more detail. Thank you for visiting the channel today, and welcome back if you are returning. If you don't know and you're new here, I color a little bit every day. I do it to relax, unwind, calm down from the excitement of the day. Hub and I both get up in the morning and we go and do our athletic things. He volunteers on our nature trail that runs through our backyard, and I go to what we call the manor with a main building, and there are always classes all morning long. I'm not a morning person as a rule, so I don't go until the 9 o'clock hour. I could go as early as 8 if I wanted, and in fact one day I was up so darn early, which is a new problem I'm having. So I like the way that looks. I'm going to not set down this pencil yet. I'm going to go ahead and play with this dark color. I'm doing it fairly light, so I will come back and darken it up after I do a couple of other colors. I'll come back one more time. So this is just like blocking the areas. I am using these lines for hints of interesting landmarks on the tree. This is our big tree. Yeah, so we go and do our exercise and we come home and we catch up. We might eat together. And then I usually sit down and start planning my coloring for the day. We might play our computer game. We've been doing that a lot lately, though not today. Oh, because I had to watch Bubba. So with my parents here, things have been a little bit different schedule-wise, not our normal schedule. So just blocking in everything. These are soft pencils. They do not hold a point. You can see already on this point that just in that this pencil was sharp, and I've already lost the tip. They are a lovely feeling pencil. I try not to think about the day that comes with my softer pencils, where these sets that you can get these in smaller sets. Like I said, in fact you can't buy them as a complete set. You can only buy them in the 12, 24, 36, and 48 increments. But I did buy both of my sets used. I have a set and a half, actually, a little over a set and a half, which means when the time comes, I may have to go buy, you know, there's a certain set that's really good with the greens that I noted Saturday, not yesterday. And it might be, since green, I do a lot of nature drawing, that I might need to just repeat by that nature set. But I do own, like I said, it's like a set and 2/3. So I'm trying not to think too much about that. I do color every day. I do use all of my sets, so it is bound to happen that I will run out of something sooner or later. And most of my sets do not allow, they don't sell the individual pencils. So I will be having to evaluate that and look at each set. I already know some sets that I will not bother with replacing because I do have so many. Okay, I'm going to shift to a brighter color. It's called Dark Chocolate, SC40. This, when you look at, if you go to Chris Cheng's video, she actually starts, she's done a couple of the trees when she starts the trees. She has a specific episode just for the trees, and she starts with this color, not the color I started with. Again, using lightish pressure, my hand is further away, but I might start with this color blocking in. Very sketchy, not being picky and smooth or anything like that. Adding in some of my own bark elements. This is coloring in very different than the Nina Bristol Vellum mock-up I did, and very different from the copy paper, which I do not like how these pencils behave on copy paper at all, especially after how nice some of the pencils I just finished using work on the copy paper. So the trick with nature is to color in the direction of the grain of whatever it is you are doing. If it's soft, fluffy leaves, you do your ovals. Like yesterday, I did lots of ovals in the greens. If you're doing trees and detailed leaves, you want to follow what the veining pattern would look like. Feathers and fur, you want to follow the direction of the feathers and the fur. And it just makes the work so much easier when you do that. You're not fighting your own, going in your own direction. I'm hoping that by keeping this somewhat sketchy and not as precise, because they are in the distance, that we'll go through them pretty quickly. I just grabbed the first two trees here. I want to focus on them being finished, and then they will be the standard that I will use for the rest that I might do as homework. Using the lines that were already provided, that's where my main bark lines are. I am wearing my reading glasses at the moment because I couldn't read the text on the conversion chart. I am going to go with one lighter color. Nope, that's Huntsman. Here it is. This is going to add some bright. It is called Castle DG138. And I'm going to go ahead, it's a little bit on the orangey side, you can see it. Adding little pops of color. The colors were almost direct matches. The only color that I did not find a match for was Beige, 997. Clearly the sun or light source is on the right and the shadow side is on the left. I think somebody just left a package. We have had a lot of packages here. None of them are ours. I went ahead and snuck in a dark because I noticed I hadn't done anything up here. And I don't even mind if this one at the top has less detail, the trees in general, and that I focus more toward the bottom, but I did need to fill it in. And this is the dark chocolate, which is the second darkest color. So there was this knot, a hint of a knot, and I have darkened it up. A hint of a knot here, and then this is probably a broken off branch right there. These don't feel as pigmented. They go down very soft. They feel soft, kind of almost squishy, but they're not buttery. They have still sort of a dry, not very noisy, but they do have a dry feel to them. They don't feel messy. I don't get a sense that I will have issues with them. I've used them quite a few times now, and I do not feel that they're messy. They kind of feel like maybe a tiny bit softer Artex. They are definitely not anywhere near as soft and messy as Prismacolor. Okay, so we've got a nice complete second color of the dark chocolate down. Like I said, I will be coming back on the left hand side here. So this dark chocolate, as well as the, what color is this? Castle, has warmed up the trees quite a bit. And I have still some lighter areas happening that I've left very soft. I need to get some dark brown up there. All right, we have 3 colors left. We are now on to what I feel was the secret recipe element, the skin graythorn, which is, and did I not tell you what? So DG 138, I did not share that with you. I'll go back in a minute. Graythorn is 30% warm gray. Going back to DG 138, yeah, I didn't give you that color. That is Sienna Brown 945. The dark chocolate is 946 dark brown, and we started with Huntsman, which is 1099 Espresso. Again, everything will be up on my description. So now I'm going to be somewhat glazing over the browns with this 30% gray, filling in this tooth, adding in that gray, and I'm coming all the way out here quite a ways. I need to come up here, and this is kind of messy. Clean that up. But I still really like these. They are very vibrant, even though on this particular paper I don't feel that they go down with a lot of vibrancy, but they layer nicely. And I don't know if you people who've used these, the Black Widow people, feel that these are a layering pencil, but I am finding that the more I put down, the brighter they get. Long lines, coloring in long lines, medium pressure. I'm gonna do a layer of the lightest color. This is the one that I did not have a match for. It is SD0013 is what I picked, called Suede, from the Dark Skin set, and it is to mimic 997 Beige. Now, what I was not paying too much attention to on the trees, I noticed when Chris did the background here that these little dark ink lines, printed lines, she softened somehow, some way. And I have not monitored whether the trunk lines were also softened. And I am not sure if I am going to do that at all to the page. I just might still leave it looking somewhat like a coloring book, because that is what it is, and I haven't really even gotten to the point where I really want to white outlines. I have done a couple of experiments with it. It is not in my bag of tricks yet, so I just don't even know that for today's coloring with doing this that I would want to. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good, but it looks pretty flat, so it's time to come back in here with Huntsman, which is right here, and try to get some darks now. Hand is moving closer to the tip. I will be adding a lot more pressure. Can do some nice long lines here in the back, long and dark with medium to heavy pressure. I am not sure if on this paper I will get pigment down to the point where it won't add more pigment. So far these have seemed to just go darker and darker and darker. Have not felt any resistance. It's not burnished yet, so it's possible I will get to the point where I burnish and it will go slick on me and no more, because these are a wax pencil, and it will not accept any more pigment. I'll have to clean up the hair. We don't even know what color the hair is going to be. He has a very friendly bird on his finger. So I have a couple, so my trick is, where I see a little shading, see these lines? They kind of were there from previous lines I put down. I build upon them. It's the same thing I do when I'm doing animal fur. I go ahead and try to build upon any lines. I don't try to replace or mimic a photograph's exact hair for hair. I kind of start sketchy, and then I build from my lines rather than trying to replicate a photograph's lines. I like realism, but I'm not going to try to replicate every hair on an animal or a person. I would rather just generate my own. There are markings and facial expressions on an animal that in order to have the realism be there, you do have to mimic that, but I still don't think you need to go to individual hairs. That is just how as far as I'm willing to take my realism. Semblance of hairs and groupings of hairs, hints of hairs, but not individual hairs. Lengthen some of these lines and marks. Still going darker. Each layer is still going. I have not hit the limit with this paper, and I have many layers now. I've been doing them pretty fast, but I do have lots of layers. So this tree is farther away, so I will be trying to have even less detail on this tree. I hope that is staying focused for you guys. I am enjoying these trees. I enjoyed the vegetation yesterday. I keep saying yesterday, Saturday. I think the little tree is looking very nice. The big tree needs a little work. Like up here, I need to darken all this up. I do have my kneaded eraser handy. I do not know how well it will work with these pencils. It worked fantastic with the polychromos. Nice big. I am okay with my pressure varying a little bit so that I get more bark lines. All right, moving on to, let's go back to dark chocolate. This is more of a glazing. Focusing on the left side. Trying to get the final push here so that I can take a look and see if this is the level of detail that I want on these trees. Long straight lines. Now I'm glazing over where I placed detailed bark lines with Huntsman. And I could go in if I wanted to do some little focus lines in a different color than the Huntsman color. I can extend the Huntsman lines a bit. My pencil, I'm rotating it you'll see that the tip is pretty angled because I have flattened it down, and I could sharpen it if I wanted, or I can just do what I'm doing, which is rotating as I go to try to get some emphasized lines going. I have to do some, this is the roughest area up here. Let's try to finish this off. There's a couple of little dots here and there. Those could be emphasized. Bark isn't all long and vertical. Just whatever detail you feel like adding, like I did a little dark line around that little dot. And let's add a little color to this tree that's further in the distance. Remember, I extended these branches out yesterday. They did not go this far. And then I do have, these are little swaths of foliage. Again, getting a couple of spots and dots going on this trunk. Okay, going one lighter. Let's see, what have we got? We have Castle. This has a little more orange to it. Again, starting with a light glaze. Starting on the left with the going in and doing a few more darker lines. I still feel up here I could clean up even darker. Coming over to our little tree. And I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more trees like this to go. Okay, one lighter. We have our gray. The secret ingredient, I think, in my opinion. I don't know, I think I like this farther away one better, how I did it. Who knows if I will end up with the other 6 having one that I like even better than this one, but between the two, I like this one better. I'm gonna have to probably darken that top up. We are doing good for time. Okay, I switched to the lightest color. We're at 40 minutes. SD013 Suede. Again, still not really sure if this dark line here is something I will want to lighten up, eliminate, mask, something. Not sure about that yet. Yeah, I really like this little tree. So I might have to experiment with softening this line with some India ink. My Winsor & Newton, perhaps. I want to come back and put, say, Huntsman. Maybe like that. Trying to keep the detail even less on the farther away tree. Okay, I'm going to sharpen this. I have a minute or two left. I'm feeling what I would call the burnishing on the wax, where getting any additional color down is kind of smooshing at this point to the previous layers. It is like gone slick on me, which is okay. I don't mind it. So hard pressure now. Notice how close my hand is to the tip. Definitely going carefully vertically to look like bark. Should I leave any accidental extra dark lines, I want them to be all going in the correct direction. All right, I like that extra dark. Let's do some extra down here. And now I need this dark. We need the shadow sides to be equally as dark. These are a lovely pencil, you guys. I like them. They do a great job. I can deal with the point going by fairly quickly. All right, 2 trees done. Let me know what you think. I know, oh, look at, I went all this way up and you guys didn't even get to see it. This was really rough. This is what was looking pretty darn rough. And it goes right off the edge. And there's even a little mark. That's printer mark. Let me know what you think. Does this tree style work for you? Is it out of fashion now that I got this from a 7-year-old tutorial? Or is it a timeless tutorial and it works? For me, it works. This was just my style, right up my alley. I enjoyed it. All right, so I will take a photo of this. Because the image is so large, it's hard for me to show you everything I am doing. So I will absolutely take a screenshot and put it at the end so you can see what it looks like in context with the rest of the page. So do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, consider subscribing. And I think we're done. We might do one more bit of this later this week, but I will change gears and it is either going to be Magical Worlds. We're starting the owl. That's what everybody picked. And I chose the pencils that are next on my list from the random number generated list that we're on round number 5. And then I also have a boat that we could do with the Brute Funer squares from Small Victories. And I have not decided which I will do, but I hope I will see you there.